YouTube, Will from Will Development. It's my 256th hand movements weekly update. First and foremost, I want to thank the new subscribers for subscribing. I believe I'm at 116 at the recording of this particular video, which is pretty cool by me, since I do basically absolutely nothing for promotion of my channel at all, except, tagging and stuff on the, I guess you would call that like metadata side. But I don't really share any of the videos over on like Reddit or Twitter or anything like that, probably as much as I could and or should, but my channel's not monetized anyway. For anybody who's new, feel free to browse around, let me know if you have any questions, yada yada yada. You're going to be seeing my yearly update coming up soon. That's going to be in September sometime. That might be a problem because I think I usually do it right around the same time as my comp coming up, so I should probably start compiling some videos together and coming up with a new intro and outro. I'm probably going to keep the same music that I chose from last year, and then we'll go from there. Just close that a little bit. But right on into how my week went. This week was sort of gonna push it just a little bit, but not quite crazy push it. I don't recall if I mentioned it last week, but I realized that my somehow plan and programming was ahead by a week. So basically I thought I had 6 weeks left, but I had 7. And so I was ahead by a week, and I was like, well, okay. The good news with that is I get to deload next week, which I desperately, desperately need. And it will help me stay a little more on track, because as I bumped the numbers up this week, things did not go as well as I would have hoped. They didn't go terribly bad, but they just didn't quite go as I would say wanted them to go, is the best way to put it. Basically on Monday, I continued doing some Zercher carries. I did bump up the weight, but what ended up happening is I had to do the actual carries on the other side of the road that we normally do it on, and so it was leaning just a little bit to the right. I don't know if that's the same on the camera, but anyway, it was leaning to the right, and because of that, every time I took a step with my left leg, which is kind of my bad hip and sort of like bad side of my back, the kind of pounding would hit me a little harder, and then going the other way, I was actually able to go faster, and I believe that was because it wasn't as abrupt on my, the fall was further, but it wasn't like pick it up and skip right there. It was like pick it up and, oh, okay, I've got a second to come back down, versus going the other way where it was like, oh, you pick it up and it comes back down real fast, and it was kind of jarring a little bit more. The real answer is walk a little softer, you pussy, but it's neither here nor there. But the short answer is, or the short story is, I ended up sort of tweaking something a little bit on Monday, and it sort of made the whole rest of the week a little bit rougher. But that being said, was able to do about 10 to 11 second runs with 295 over 55-foot planes. So that's right where I want to be. I'm also probably going to tweak it where I'm not doing Zercher carries every week. I'm probably going to do them every other week, right up until the last 2 weeks, and then I'll do one boom and boom. I may just stick to every other week, or just make it super light and just really work on that speed, because I know that kind of carrying and that kind of motions, it really takes it out of you, But this is all learning, this is all work in progress kind of stuff. Then on Tuesday was pressing, and I wanted to do 168 for 4s, and I ended up getting 168 push press out of the rack for 3s. I really wanted 4s, but it just wasn't in the cards, and I knew if I went for the 4s, they would either be super ugly to the point where, why am I bothering with this, or they would have been misses, which would really fuck with my head. So I would get my 3 on every set, and I would just be like, let's just hold it off for now. Let's save the big dick energy for the comp. 170 for 3 is still a PR with that kind of weight. I mean, I remember doing just 170 for 1 used to be a PR. So, the numbers are moving up, and with a deload next week, life should be a lot nicer to me. Still deciding what I'm going to do on Saturday. I may just end up doing cleans at 175, actually bumping the weight up, and then just getting into a clean position and just holding that position for just a little bit longer. just to really emphasize that. And I may even do that next week during the deload. So even though I will be putting more pressure on the actual holding muscles, it'll be, beneficial towards getting used to feeling that heavier weight in the hands and that sort of thing. So I won't actually be pressing it, but I'll just be sort of unracking heavier weights. We're talking 190 heavier for me, 190s to 210s, that kind of thing. We'll figure that out. I may even just add it in on the heavier days. It's always a work in progress. That's what you got to realize. There's nothing wrong with that either, as long as you have sort of a steady, slow build up over time. That's all that really matters, I think. And then tonight, we're supposed to do 3x3s with 360 on the 18-inch hex bar deadlift, and I ended up doing one set of 2, then one set of 1, and I did get a set of 3 in there. It was just feeling like hell today, but the set that I did do, check out my The Week Up video coming out next Wednesday, and you'll see that the set that I did record, and that was probably the worst set I did, every set was hurting, but it didn't feel like I was going out, so I had recorded a couple of them, and then this is my set of 3 that you'll see that I recorded, or had recorded, I should say. And in that set, everything stayed nice and tight, basically where I want it, but it hurt, it didn't feel good. So that's where I'm at with that right now, and that's okay, honestly. It is what it is. Like I said, deload coming next week, can't come fast enough. Haha. Come fast enough. And then Saturday, who knows what's going to happen. Now, that being said, I did hit exactly what I wanted to on last Saturday, which was 3 sets of 3 clean and press with I believe it was 158 or I think it was 158. So, with that in mind, I went up 10 pounds on my press, and that's kind of a big jump with a press, because it's one of those it's one of those movements that's going to take a while to build up because the muscles involved in it they're so small. Let's see, where am I? Let's keep going down. Give me a second here, guys. I'll give you the straight answer. Axle clean and push press. It was 158. Yeah, and on that last Monday, I had done 158 for 4 sets of 5. So I went up 10 pounds. And got it for 3s, so maybe I'll go up 5 pounds tomorrow, and I'll just do the 160. See, 158 is 163. Maybe I'll do that for sets of 3 or 4, just to get the extra work in, and it's not quite as heavy. And then I'll just do some heavier cleans when it was over, that kind of thing. Probably gonna start doing some sandbag work once a week too, just to try to simulate that stone carry as best I can. It is what it is, but it's coming up. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. I guess the notable things from this week are there's nothing wrong with changing the program, even if you fuck up and miscount and you can't exactly figure out how or why you did. It's no big deal. Take advantage of it where you can, and don't be afraid to change things up just a little bit on the fly. All that matters is steady progression, and if you're not steadily progressing forward, I guess that's an oxymoron, because progress delineates forwardness, or betterment. Regression would be backwards. So, if you're not going towards progress, slow and steady, then what's your excuse?